Mansa Musa, also known as Musa I of Mali, was the most famous ruler of the Mali Empire and is widely recognized as one of the wealthiest individuals of all time. His reign, which lasted from 1312 to 1337, was marked by unprecedented economic power, territorial expansion, and cultural advancements that left a lasting impact on the history of West Africa. The Mali Empire, before Mansa Musa. Before Mansa Musa ascended to the throne, the Mali Empire was already one of the richest and most influential civilizations in West Africa. Founded by Sundiata Keita in the 13th century, the empire controlled vast lands, including gold-rich regions crucial for trans-Saharan trade. Mali also boasted important trade routes connecting North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. The empire's economy was primarily based on gold mining, agriculture, and the trade of salt and slaves. Ascension to the throne. Mansa Musa was not the direct heir to the throne. He came to power under unusual circumstances when the reigning ruler, Abu Bakr II, abdicated to explore the Atlantic Ocean in an expedition that never returned. Musa, who was his deputy, was chosen as his successor. His rise marked the beginning of one of the Mali Empire's most prosperous periods. Extraordinary wealth. Mansa Musa's wealth was unparalleled. The empire controlled roughly half of the world's gold supply at the time, and Musa's effective management of Mali's natural resources further increased his fortune. He also expanded the empire, conquering territories like Gao and Timbuktu, which were vital commercial and cultural hubs. Mansa Musa's fortune was so vast that, over the centuries, his wealth became legendary. Modern estimates suggest he might have been richer than any contemporary billionaire, with a fortune equivalent to hundreds of billions of dollars in today's terms. The famous pilgrimage to Mecca. The most notable event of Mansa Musa's life was his pilgrimage to Mecca, Hajj, in 1324. As a devout Muslim, he decided to fulfill one of Islam's 5 pillars, but his journey was anything but ordinary. Musa led a caravan of thousands, including soldiers, servants, and camels, laden with gold. It is estimated he carried over 18 tons of gold, which he distributed generously along the way. During his stops in cities like Cairo, Medina, and Mecca, Mansa Musa's extravagant donations caused a temporary devaluation of gold in the region, leading to inflation that lasted for over a decade. This event placed Mali on the global map and made Mansa Musa an internationally recognized figure. Timbuktu, the center of knowledge. Mansa Musa was not only wealthy, but also a patron of the arts and education. He transformed Timbuktu into one of the most important intellectual centers of the medieval world. During his reign, he funded the construction of mosques, schools, and libraries, including the famous University of Sankore, which attracted scholars from across the Islamic world. Timbuktu became a symbol of wealth and learning, housing thousands of manuscripts on subjects such as astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and literature. This cultural golden age of Mali was largely made possible by Mansa Musa's support. Enduring legacy. Mansa Musa's impact goes far beyond his wealth. He helped solidify Islam in West Africa and left a cultural and architectural legacy that endures to this day. The mosques built during his reign, such as the Jingareber Mosque in Timbuktu, still stand as testaments to his vision. Moreover, his pilgrimage brought international attention to the Mali Empire, placing it on the map of European and Arab merchants. This visibility helped shape the global perception of medieval Africa as a continent of wealth and sophistication. The end of his reign. Mansa Musa passed away in 1337, leaving the throne to his son, Maghan I. While Mali continued to prosper for some time after his death, the empire eventually declined due to internal disputes and external pressures. Nevertheless, Mansa Musa's legacy as one of history's greatest rulers is indisputable. Interesting facts about Mansa Musa Catalan Atlas of 1375. Mansa Musa was depicted holding a gold nugget in one of the most famous medieval maps, the Catalan Atlas, highlighting his fame for wealth. Limitless generosity. During his pilgrimage, he funded the construction of mosques in nearly every city he visited. Cultural influence. Beyond gold, Musa also brought artists and architects from the Middle East to Mali, fostering a unique cultural exchange. Conclusion: Mansa Musa was more than the richest man of the ancient world. He was a visionary leader who transformed the Mali Empire into an economic and cultural superpower. His legacy continues to inspire and intrigue historians, economists, and curious minds to this day. The story of his wealth and generosity serves as a reminder of the lasting impact a leader can have on their nation and the world. Mansa Musa, the story of the wealthiest man in history. Mansa Musa, also known as Musa Jumaian of Mali, was the most celebrated ruler of the Mali Empire, one of the largest empires in West Africa. His reign, from 1312 to 1337, not only marked the peak of the empire's wealth and power, but also established him as one of the wealthiest individuals in world history. While exact estimates of his fortune are difficult to determine, scholars believe he far surpassed modern billionaires in terms of wealth relative to his time. His story is an extraordinary testament to the intersection of power, faith, and generosity. The context of the Mali Empire. Before Mansa Musa's rise, the Mali Empire was already a burgeoning power in West Africa. Founded in the 13th century by Sundiata Keita, Mali controlled vast territories rich in natural resources, especially gold, which was the backbone of the trans-Saharan economy. Strategically located, the empire became a vital trade link between North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Its trade routes facilitated the transport of gold, salt, and luxury goods, while its thriving agriculture supported a growing population. When Musa ascended the throne, he inherited an empire with a solid economic foundation and established trade routes. However, his leadership and vision further expanded this wealth, turning Mali into a global superpower of the time. Mansa Musa's unparalleled wealth. Mansa Musa's wealth primarily stemmed from his control over the gold mines of Bambouk and Bure, which supplied nearly half of the world's gold during the 14th century. Additionally, Mali was renowned for its vast reserves of salt, another highly valuable resource at the time. Combined with Musa's administrative prowess, this abundance of resources transformed the empire into an economic powerhouse. It is estimated that Musa's control over gold and salt trade allowed the empire to amass unmatched riches. His efficient management of trade routes ensured that merchants from across the Islamic world and beyond contributed to the region's prosperity. Musa strategically utilized this wealth not only to expand his empire, but also to solidify his cultural and religious influence. The pilgrimage to Mecca. The most famous event of Mansa Musa's life was his pilgrimage to Mecca, the Hajj, in 1324. As a devout Muslim, he sought to fulfill one of the 5 pillars of Islam, but his journey was far from ordinary. Musa led an enormous caravan of around 60,000 people, including soldiers, servants, and traders. This entourage carried tons of gold and other resources, creating a spectacle that captured the world's attention. The caravan included approximately 80 camels, each carrying between 50 and 300 pounds of gold. Along the way, Musa distributed gold generously to local populations, particularly in cities such as Cairo, Medina, and Mecca. He financed the construction of mosques, gave gifts to merchants, and assisted the poor. While his generosity was viewed as an act of charity, it had significant economic consequences. In Egypt, for instance, Musa's excessive gold donations caused a temporary devaluation of the precious metal, leading to inflation that lasted over a decade. This event not only highlighted Musa's immense wealth, but also placed the Mali Empire at the center of global attention, solidifying its reputation as one of the richest and most sophisticated regions of the time. Timbuktu, a center of knowledge. One of Mansa Musa's most enduring legacies was his investment in Timbuktu, which he transformed into one of the greatest centers of learning and culture in the medieval world. During his pilgrimage, Musa brought architects, scholars, and artists from across the Islamic world to Mali, fostering a cultural exchange that shaped the region's history. He financed the construction of numerous mosques, schools, and libraries. Among the most notable was the University of Sankore in Timbuktu, which became a global intellectual hub, attracting scholars from across the Islamic world. During Musa's reign, the city flourished, housing thousands of manuscripts on subjects such as astronomy, medicine, mathematics, philosophy, and theology. Timbuktu symbolized not only the material wealth of Mali, but also its cultural and intellectual sophistication. This golden age of learning was one of Musa's greatest contributions, solidifying Mali's position as a global center of knowledge, territorial management, and empire expansion. In addition to his wealth, Mansa Musa was a skilled strategist. He expanded the borders of the Mali Empire, incorporating regions such as Gao and strengthening control over Timbuktu. These areas were crucial for trade and culture, and their annexation further cemented Mali's position as a dominant empire. Musa also implemented an efficient administrative system, delegating regional power to trusted governors and ensuring internal stability. His policy of religious tolerance and promotion of Islam helped unify the diverse populations under his rule. A lasting impact. Mansa Musa's legacy extends far beyond his wealth. His pilgrimage to Mecca brought international recognition to the Mali Empire, placing it on the maps of European and Arab merchants. This visibility not only shaped the world's perception of medieval Africa, but also inspired explorers and cartographers to document the continent with greater detail. Musa also helped solidify Islam as a cultural and religious force in West Africa, encouraging the construction of mosques and promoting theological learning. His investments in architecture and education left a lasting impact, with many structures built during his reign still standing today, such as the famous Jinguereber Mosque in Timbuktu. Death and the decline of the empire. Mansa Musa passed away in 1337, leaving the throne to his son, Magan I. While the Mali Empire continued to thrive for some time after his death, it eventually faced growing challenges due to internal disputes and external pressures. However, Musa's legacy as one of the greatest rulers in history remains intact. Fascinating facts about Mansa Musa. The Catalan Atlas of 1375. Musa was depicted on the famous medieval map holding a gold nugget, emphasizing his renown for wealth. The monumental pilgrimage. The amount of gold he distributed was so immense that local economies took years to recover. Timbuktu as a beacon of knowledge. Under his patronage, the city became a global hub of learning, attracting scholars from all over the world. Conclusion. Mansa Musa was not just the wealthiest man of the ancient world. He was a visionary who used his wealth to transform the Mali Empire into an economic and cultural powerhouse. His legacy continues to inspire historians, economists, and curious minds to this day. More than his material fortune, Musa left an immeasurable impact on the history of Africa and the global imagination.